All right. Good afternoon, my friends and family. Welcome to our next episode of Your Conversation with Chris. I am your host, Christian T. Howell Sr., and I want to thank you for taking out of your busy schedule to hear this exciting and transformational message. We are still talking about choices. That's right. We're still talking about choices. Listen, life is all about choices. Make no mistake about it. It's not what happens to you. It's always what you choose to do. Let me say that again, and maybe let me rephrase it. It's not what someone does to you or what someone says to you. It's how you choose to respond. It's how you choose to think. It's how you choose to speak. In other words, life is the sum total of the choices that you have made. Well, we talked about choices before, but I want to talk to you today about why it may be so hard for many people to make choices. Listen, not just hard choices, but sometimes it is simply hard for people to make choices. Have you ever gone through a drive-thru and had 5 people in the car and it took forever to order? Even worse, have you been shopping with someone and after picking up 10 items, they had to make a specific selection about what they were going to get or not get? Or have you ever been involved or tried to help a friend who was dating? Something as simple as dating. And even while having dialogue, meeting people, they simply could not make a selection of who they wanted to entertain. Well, let me give you a little secret in this brief episode. Sometimes it's hard for many people to make choices because making choices, it always includes responsibility. Let me say that again. When a person makes a choice, they become responsible. And oftentimes, we'd rather leave life into the hands of fate. We'd rather leave life into the hands of something that happened to me, or it was just beyond my control. But when people, including you and I, make choices, we oftentimes become held into accountability. We have to assume responsibility for the outcome or the direction in which things travel. Now, if you define the word responsible, to be responsible means to be liable to be called on to answer. It's giving someone the right to call into account. It's being the cause or explanation. In other words, the person responsible is the person left holding the bag. Well, that seems all exciting until we realize that sometimes some choices have grave consequences. Now, those grave consequences may be internally motivated. They may be imaginations. But the fear of being responsible, well, my friends, sometimes it is simply overwhelming. Well, I was with a family member recently, and they were considering going to college, and they were immobilized. They seemed stagnant. They seemed as if it was just simply too hard to decide where they were going to go. Now, it's not that they didn't have options. It's not that they could not go. It was not about the money. The problem was they had too many choices. And at the end of the day, they could only attend one school. They could not go to 5 different colleges at the same time. They had to make a choice. While engaging them in very heartfelt conversation, it became apparent that they would much rather someone else make the choice for them. And I realized it was easier that way because if it failed or succeeded, if it got hard or difficult, they would not have to assume any responsibility for the outcome. Well, it's like saying, it wasn't my choice. It was yours. And since it was your choice, you are now responsible and not me. It's almost the same thing as girlfriends getting together and getting ready to go out a night on the town. They look through wardrobes and one girlfriend says, you just pick what I should wear. Unfortunately, when they both go out, one gets more attention than the other. Internally, the poor friend who allowed her friend to make a choice for her blames her friend for the lack of attention she gets. The problem is, she didn't want to make the choice herself, so she gave over responsibility to someone else. And at the end of the day, her friend became the person to blame for the outcome of the failed evening. It's very simple, as you can see, that making choices always implies and carries with it responsibility at any level of life, whether it's making a choice of which restaurant to eat, making a choice which church to go to, making a choice of which school to go to, even making a choice which job to go to. When you make a choice, you become responsible. But here is my great aha moment for the day. Growing up, we could not wait to make certain choices. We couldn't wait to take ownership of our own lives. I can't wait till I get out of that house. I can't wait till I can do what I want to do. It seemed fun then. It seemed exciting. Because at the end of that day, our parents were responsible for us. But once it became apparent that our choices affected our money, our choices affected our body, our choices affected our career, sometimes the fun of making choices, it just evaporates into thin air. I want to encourage you, take responsibility for your life. I want to encourage you, learn from mistakes. Every choice is simply a choice to learn. Let me say that again. Every choice you make, it's just a new opportunity to learn. You can learn what to do better, even if it goes well. At worst, the outcome is unfavorable. However, you can still learn what to do differently the next time you make a choice. It seems kind of simple then that life is simply about making better choices. So I want to leave you with this one reality today. A very simple truth. You are simply one choice away from your destiny. You're one choice away from being a millionaire. You're one choice away from being the CEO. You're one choice away from having a healthy family and relationship. You're simply one choice away for having that God-given dream life that you've always wanted. But my friend, the burden is not on the other person. It's on you to make the right choice. It was always that way. As I said in the last podcast in closing, the power of choice is your God-given right. It goes back to the Garden of Eden, where he simply told men, I'm putting you in the optimal environment to be successful. There's no flaws in this environment. This is like heaven on earth. There was only one condition. He said, I'm going to ask you to make the right choice. I'm going to simply ask you, Adam. I'm going to tell you there are two options ahead of you. One, well, it's going to work out well. The other, it's not going to work out so well. But Adam, I'm not going to stop you from making choices. I'm simply going to allow you to determine the outcome of your own destiny. And that's what I want to share with you today. As you go forward in the rest of this year, as you move forward making plans, as you move forward strategizing your next level, remember, the choices you make, they determine your destiny. But you're only one choice away from forever. That's it today, my friends. Have a great, amazing day. Have a successful year. Empower each other. And by all means, take the time to make the wise choice. See you next time.